Hi everybody, I'm Lights Camera Jackson. Today is Sunday, September 16, 2018. Welcome to an all-new episode of LCJ Live. Coming up, tomorrow night is the 70th annual Primetime Emmy Awards. I'll have my predictions in 18 major categories coming up. Send in your questions and comments for what performances and what shows you think are going to win tomorrow night. Of course, the broadcast is live at 8 p.m. Eastern on NBC, hosted by Michael Che and Colin Jost from Saturday Night Live. So the Emmys tomorrow night, we'll be going through the predictions here in just a little bit. But first, let's get to the weekend box office. The Predator is your #1 movie in America with $24 million. That's an alright number. I think 20th Century Fox was expecting a little bit more than $24 million to sort of dominate the weekend. It really didn't dominate the weekend. A lot of the money was spread out. If you look at the numbers, The Nun in second place, $18.2 million, a big drop from last weekend's big $53 million open. But then A Simple Favor, the new Blake Lively, Anna Kendrick suspense thriller mystery movie, right behind The Nun with $16.1 million. And then neck and neck, White Boy Rick with Matthew McConaughey, $8.8 million in fourth, and Crazy Rich Asians in fifth with $8.7 million. So they're neck and neck. They could easily flip-flop when the actuals are released tomorrow. Peppermint, The Meg, Searching, 6, 7, and 8. Unbroken Path to Redemption in ninth. This is the sequel, I guess, to the Angelina Jolie movie Unbroken from 2014. Angelina Jolie is not part of this movie at all. Neither is the star, Jack O'Connell, who played Louis Zamperini the last time. Universal is a production company behind it, but it's mostly this faith-based studio called Pure Flix. Not a whole lot of money made for Unbroken Path to Redemption, just $2.4 million. And then, in, I think it's 8th weekend, Mission Impossible Fallout, hanging on there like Tom Cruise likes to hang on to all the planes and cars and everything. $2.3 million hanging on in your top 10. We've got some movies here I want to talk about. First of all, The Predator. The Predator is a decent film, but it's not an amazing movie because it's got some corny visuals, some hokey action sequences, some really unfunny dialogue, but yet there's something about it that gives you this guilty pleasure vibe. And I went into The Predator cold. I knew nothing about this movie going in. Nothing. I hadn't even seen the other Predator installments, the one with Arnold, the ones from way back when. I didn't see any of those. I went into this movie. It's so rare that a big budget film, even with so much promotion, that I was able to avoid it all. I knew the controversy involving a scene that was deleted involving Olivia Munn's character, and Sterling K. Brown spoke about it as well on social media. I knew about that, but I knew nothing about the plot. And seeing Jacob Tremblay was such a surprise. If you go into it expecting that it's not going to take itself too seriously, you'll have an alright time with it. There are a few fun moments. I kind of like Keegan-Michael Key's character. There's a moment involving his character and another in the film that's actually really well done. But it's not amazing by any means, though it does get the fall movie season off to a wild start. There's some wild sequences that take place in this movie. I do, though, highly recommend White Boy Rick. Matthew McConaughey deserves to be in the Best Supporting Actor conversation. He is so good in this movie. I'll get back to McConaughey in a second. I first want to talk about Richie Merritt, who was this high school kid from Baltimore. They plucked him out of his daily life to be a movie star, and he is terrific in this film in the lead role. This is a breakthrough performance for him, and probably going to get him a Best Young Actor, Actress nomination from the Critics' Choice Awards this year. And I hope McConaughey's in that Supporting Actor category, because he plays the dad. And there are really 3 showcase scenes for Matthew McConaughey in this movie. One's towards the end, one's kind of in the middle, and one's sort of about a third of the way through with no dialogue at all. It's just a scene of him in a car, and I won't really give much more away because you have to see it to believe it, but it shows that Matthew McConaughey is one of the great actors of our time. What a career 180. Remember when he was doing all those terrible rom-coms, and then all of a sudden he started going with The Lincoln Lawyer, then Magic Mike, then a couple other dramas until he got to Dallas Buyers Club, winning that Academy Award for Best Actor. And since then he's had a number of other roles. Mud was in the mix as well, and he's been in a number of other dramatic films and the animated movies Sing and Kubo and the Two Strings back-to-back in 2016. Now, yet again, we have another drama and another showcase role for McConaughey. Again, it's a sporting role, but I do think if Sony campaigns hard, they can get him in the supporting actor conversation. At Shellfish Beach says Mud. Yeah, absolutely. Mud, I thought Mud was an alright movie. I like Ty Sheridan, the kid in it, who has since gone on to be in Ready Player One. Reese Witherspoon was okay. I remember when I saw Mud, Reese Witherspoon was being talked about a little bit in the supporting actress conversation. That really didn't happen. McConaughey was all right. I didn't think not as nearly as good as Dallas Buyers Club. They were kind of around the same time. I've not seen the movie Support the Girls, Bob Hall wants to know. I have heard a little bit about Support the Girls. It's an indie movie. A lot of indie movies out right now. The Wife with Glenn Close expanded to more theaters this weekend, including my neck of the woods in upstate New York, and did all right. So, yeah, a lot of indie films. But go see White Boy Rick. I am going to try to see A Simple Favor this week. Couldn't get to it yet. I am going to try to see that this week, along with Life Itself, the new dramatic film from the creator of This Is Us, and The House with a Clock in Its Walls with Jack Black and Cate Blanchett, directed by, yes, Eli Roth. Eli Roth, the Hostel guy, is making a PG family movie, so that'll be interesting to check out. So I'll have reviews of all those coming up later this week. All right, it's Emmy time. I've got the Emmy right here. Tomorrow night is the 70th annual Primetime Emmy Awards, starting at 8 o'clock on NBC, again, hosted by SNL's Michael Che and Colin Jost. Lauren Michaels is producing it. So now I'm going to go through the 18 biggest categories. There are some writing categories, some directing categories, but these are the big deal 18 categories. Bob Hall is predicting a big night for The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, the Amazon Prime comedy series. And I agree with you on Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Let's start with the comedy categories. Best comedy series, I am going to go with The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. It won at the Golden Globes. It won at the Critics' Choice Awards. And it's won some Creative Arts Emmys already. I really think this show has the momentum for it, along with its lead actress, Rachel Brosnahan, who I do predict will win Best Actress in a Comedy Series. Julia Louis-Dreyfus has won the last 6 years in a row, but because of her breast cancer situation and the production on the show, Veep did not qualify this year for the Emmy Awards, so you won't see Veep anywhere. They are coming back for a final season that's going to air early next year, so it will qualify for next year's Emmys, but no episodes were aired during the past year time frame for Emmys qualification, so no Veep. So this does give Rachel Brosnahan the real chance to win Best Actress in a Comedy Series for Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Best Actor in a Comedy, I'm going to go with Ted Danson for The Good Place. When he won at the Critics' Choice Awards earlier this year, everybody in the crowd was like, wow, Ted Danson won a Critics' Choice Award. He's still relevant. He had Cheers, he had Becker, but now he's got this third show, The Good Place, that has such a core following on NBC. A lot of people love this show. Kristen Bell's on it too. I think Ted Danson is going to win the Emmy tomorrow night. Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series. His first acting SNL nomination ever. I got to root for my man, Kenan Thompson. Consistently, over so many years, he has been one of the core reasons why SNL is still around. They do so much political stuff. I get that. Kenan Thompson's not always involved in the political sketches. He's so good as Steve Harvey. He's so funny on his Weekend Update stuff when he comes in. He's been great for so many years. It's time. Give it to Kenan Thompson, supporting actor in a comedy series. Supporting actress is a tough call because you have 2 nominations in this category, but shows that really didn't get many nominations outside of them. And that would be, Kenan is an SNL legend, says Bob Hall. That would be Megan Mullally for Will and Grace and Laurie Metcalf for Roseanne. Again, Roseanne and Will and Grace didn't get many nominations outside of these 2 in this same category. If I had to flip a coin, I give it to Laurie Metcalf. The buzz coming off Lady Bird, and she won a Tony Award earlier this year as well, and the Roseanne situation going into the new Connors show, I think you will see Laurie Metcalf on stage accepting another Emmy Award for her performance on Roseanne tomorrow night. We move on to the drama series. If you're just joining us here on LCJ Live, I'm giving my Emmy predictions for the 70th Emmys for tomorrow night. Best drama series. What else but Game of Thrones? I know Handmaid's Tale won last year, and Oprah was on stage, and she was like, "It's the Handmaid's Tale!" No, it's going to be Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is still relevant. It's HBO's biggest show. It is still a powerhouse. Still going to be big. Going into its final season pretty soon. Game of Thrones wins drama series. Actor in a drama series, I think he's going to go 2 for 2. The Predator star, Sterling K. Brown, will be back up on stage winning another Emmy. He won for the OJ show, too. Another Emmy, lead actor in a drama series for This Is Us. Good show. I'm excited for season 3. Best actress in a drama series. Sandra Oh became the first Asian woman nominated for the lead actress Emmy in a drama series that got a lot of headlines when the Emmy nominations came out in July, and I think that momentum is still here. Sandra Oh will win Best Actress in a Drama Series for her performance on the show Killing Eve. At Jews Inley says, "I wish Claire Foy would win." Well, maybe she could win for the crown, but Claire Foy's got a lot coming in the movie world on the way with her role in First Man. She's getting a lot of supporting actress buzz for that, and The Girl in the Spider's Web is out in November, so she's going to be doing well with the movies. This Is Us rules, says Shellfish Beach. I like it. It's a good show. It is. I enjoy it. But it's really sad and dramatic in a lot of parts, too. Supporting actor in a drama series, he's going to be back. Peter Dinklage for Game of Thrones. And supporting actress in a drama series, I really think Millie Bobby Brown. Stranger Things. She's won some awards already the past couple years for this show. It's time for the Emmy. Millie Bobby Brown is your best supporting actress in a drama series. We go to the miniseries or movie categories. They already gave out the TV Movie Award, which Paterno, which I loved, did not win in that category. I think Al Pacino should have been nominated for Best Actor in a Miniseries or Movie. I can't believe he wasn't. This is a dominant performance in an ensemble film. The HBO movie Paterno, which I think is still in my top 5 for the year so far. It is absolutely enthralling to watch. If you haven't seen it and you got HBO Go, check out Paterno. So what are we left with? A limited series I watched all 10 parts of. Genius Picasso has won some Creative Arts Emmys already. The Genius Einstein miniseries didn't get any last year. I think the Television Academy is now understanding what this miniseries is capable of. Genius Picasso will win limited series, and Antonio Banderas, who was great throughout Genius Picasso, especially in a couple of the middle episodes like 5 and 6, Antonio Banderas will win lead actor in a miniseries or movie for Genius Picasso. Lead actress in a miniseries or movie, I'm going to go with Jessica Biel for The Sinner. I've heard she's gotten a lot of attention. She's gotten a lot of nominations over this award season. And just looking at the nominees, I feel like it could be her, Jessica Biel, for winning that category. Supporting actor, Edgar Ramirez for the assassination of Gianni Versace. It's a key role, an important role, highly publicized. I think he'll win for that. And for supporting actress, from Black Mirror, Black Panther star Letitia Wright will take home the Emmy for supporting actress in a miniseries or movie. We are down to just 3 categories that I'm going to predict here on LCJ Live for tomorrow night's Emmy Awards. We go to some of the variety talk categories. I think the momentum is still going. All the people who love Jon Stewart now go to John Oliver. Last Week Tonight with John Oliver will win for Variety Talk Series. Then for Variety Sketch Series, SNL won last year with the 2 guys hosting and Lorne Michaels producing this year. It would be kind of awkward if SNL didn't win again this year. So I'm going to go with Saturday Night Live for Variety Sketch Series. And then finally, Reality Competition Program. RuPaul just won the Host Award for Reality Competition Host at the Creative Arts Emmys. And I do think RuPaul's Drag Race is going to win its first reality competition program Emmy. I was at a talk in New York City over the summer involving RuPaul's Drag Race. I was there for some other things as well. But I was there and I listened to Michelle Visage and some of the contestants over the years from RuPaul's Drag Race talk about why they think this show should win the reality competition Emmy category, that it's time for what this show stands for, what they've been able to accomplish, especially in the LGBTQ community. RuPaul's Drag Race will win reality competition program. So if you missed any of those picks, you want to write them down, you want to put them on your own ballot for your Emmy pool, go to lights-camera-jackson.com. On the homepage and in the blog section, I've listed them right there for you. All 18 of the key categories for tomorrow night's Emmy Awards, the 70th Primetime Emmy Awards. Here's the thing, I'm actually going to a screening of a movie, Life Itself, tomorrow night, so I'm actually going to be missing the Emmys live, but I'll be keeping up with it all across social media and putting out my picks again on Twitter at LCJ Reviews and all over social media. And while you're at lights-camera-jackson.com, look in the podcast section because I've got 2 new LCJ Q&A episodes. One is with Eric Bauza. He's one of the great voice actors of our time, and he voices Splinter on the new Nickelodeon animated series Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is premiering tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on Nickelodeon. So before the Emmys, you flip over to Nickelodeon and watch this great new Ninja Turtles show. It's funny, it's action-packed, the animation is cool, and Eric Bauza voices Splinter. So we talk about that and the rumors that he is going to be voicing Bugs Bunny and Daffy in Space Jam 2. He addresses all of that very definitively in this new LCJ Q&A episode. Also, I've got another one up there with the directors of a new animated movie streaming now on Netflix called Next Gen. Next Gen is this sci-fi fantasy animated movie with a great voice cast. John Krasinski, David Cross is in it, and some other big names, and including Constance Wu from Crazy Rich Asians. So in this Q&A, I talked with the directors, Kevin R. Adams and Joe Cassander. And we had a great time talking about Next Gen, how they take a lot of elements, including from one of their favorite movies of all time, Blade Runner, and stick it into this new Netflix sci-fi animated film. So check out those LCJ Q&A episodes at lights-camera-jackson.com. And once again, later this week, I'll have my takes, hopefully on A Simple Favor, as well as Life Itself, and The House with a Clock in Its Walls. I got a feeling, based on the money, House with a Clock is probably going to be your #1 movie this time next Sunday. The question is, how high will it go? We'll talk about all of that next Sunday, back here for another new episode of LCJ Live. I'm Lights Camera Jackson. Thanks so much for watching today. Please watch the Emmys tomorrow night. Hope you get all your picks right. Hope I get all my picks right. And if you're watching this right now on YouTube, please subscribe here and watch the latest movie reviews and other videos right here. I'm Lights Camera Jackson. Thanks for watching LCJ Live, and we'll see you back here next Sunday live at noon Eastern.